It's basically just two web seminar.
তো সোমার কাছে মানে ব্যাকআপটা ঠিকঠাক থাকে, অনেক সময় আমাকেই
বলো না বাবা আবার।
হ্যাঁ, সেটাও ভয় করছে বলতে। আমি একটা ভালো দেখে কম্পিউটার দেখে বসি মাঝে মাঝে, তো তার জন্য জিনিসগুলো যাতে এক জায়গায় থাকে বলে সোমাকে বলা হয় যে করো।
না, অ্যাকচুয়ালি দ্য প্রবলেম ইজ আমাদের তো এই বছর আড়াই বছর ধরে ইন্টারনেটে ক্লাস চলছে, মানে অনলাইন। হয় কি বাড়িতে কখনো কখনো প্রবলেম হয়, আর বাড়িতে আমার ফোনের কানেকশনটাও বাজে, আমাদের অফিসেরও প্রবলেম হয়, যদিও এটা এনআইসি কানেকশন, বাট দেন দেয়ার আর প্রবলেমস। তো এখানে এই ফোনটাতে চলে যায়, সো দ্যাট ইজ দ্য রিজন আই কেম টু অফিস।
Okay, we are live now, I think.
Yeah.
Okay. We are live now.
আচ্ছা, আমার সাউন্ডটা ঠিক আসছে?
Yes, yes.
Yes, it's busy. It's audible.
Okay.
Sure, we are live. Should I check it?
We are live, I think, because I'm on YouTube. I saw in YouTube.
So we need to check. Okay. Yes, we are live. Thanks everyone for joining today's international webinar. It is our 51 webinar in this series. We are very glad that today we are managed to another talk. It is our second talk on palm tree. It is last webinar we got many questions and queries about this crop tissue culture, because yes, quite few people are working on that, and that's why we are searching another speakers on that crops, because rice, wheat, maize is very common, but people working on such recalcitrant crop is very few. So we are glad today we have a Dr. Pranab Kumar Mandal. He is a renowned scientist and managing. I personally know him when I did PhD at Calcutta University. He has managed many multi-institutional project, national project, and is very good on that. So I also admire his work in that collaborating projects and managing all the things, and he always keep on time that this project needs that, this project needs that, and he's a very good person in that. I request Soma to introduce a little bit Bioingene process of our certificate distributions. I'm sure many people will join later and they miss these instructions, but this is available in our website also. I request Soma to introduce Bioingene and our speakers. Please, Soma.
Okay, a very warm welcome to all our viewers of Bioingene, a platform dedicated to the promotion of plant science research. The esteemed guest speakers on our platform are mostly plant scientists who present their research, and future scientists from around the world gain knowledge, perspective, and inspiration. We do this through our webinar series, interview sessions, and publications. Thank you for being a part of today's webinar. As more people are joining in, let me provide some housekeeping information related to today's webinar. Please note that after today's talk, you can apply for a certificate of participation. For this, you need to submit the feedback form that will be provided multiple times in the YouTube chat after the presentation. When you fill out the feedback form, please use the same email address that you used in the registration form, and remember to mention your full institute name and address. Mismatch in email ID may result in non-identification of participants, and your certificate may not be issued. You can collect your participation certificates after 2 to 3 days from our website. Bioingene does not send certificates through email. Please make sure that you have enabled YouTube chat on your device so that you can interact and submit your webinar-related questions. We will collect all the relevant questions for our speaker. Our esteemed guest speaker today is Dr. Pranab Kumar Mandal. Dr. Mandal is a principal scientist at the Indian Council of Agricultural Research, National Institute of Plant Biotechnology, New Delhi, India. He heads his team in their projects such as biochemical and molecular basis of nitrogen utilization in wheat, under genetic improvement of wheat for adaptation to climate change induced stresses, and development of low immunogenic wheat. He is also an integral part of the Indo-UK Centre for the improvement of nitrogen use efficiency in wheat. His research interests include biochemical and molecular studies for nutrient efficiency in wheat and nutritional quality study in wheat in relation to wheat allergenicity. He has published in many renowned journals and he has received many awards and honors. We are highly honored to have him with us today. Dr. Mandal, our virtual podium is all yours now.
Thank you so much. So, shall we start?
Yes,
Shall I share
can start.
the slides?
Yes, we can. Please share the slide.
Yes, sir. Slide is visible. Yes, visible.
So the good part of this Bioingene is that even people are not there, they can see at a later stage. That's really nice, and that is all because of this online era, and I should say it became more after this COVID-19 came, because we are now used to these webinars and online seminars, and they are all supported by sometimes Facebook Live, sometimes YouTube Live. So it's nice. So that's okay. Again, at the end, I think the organizer can provide my email ID so that any query or phone number, any query to WhatsApp or email they can do. Like as Soma was introducing me, I am not working on oil. I am not working on oil palm at present. It is around 10 years back I was working, and I worked for around 12, 13 years. So, but then basically I felt that out of my work is mainly on rice and wheat at present. But I thought this palm oil is one of the big questions for many people. And that's why I put it as common man's perspective. And then when you are going to the palm oil, second part of the talk will be, I was told that it is around 1 hour. So second part of the talk will be on palm oil. But first we want to know as agriculturist the crop. So again, it is not a big scientific talk. I purposefully did not put there because there are a lot of developments in oil palm throughout the world, of course in India also, and for that you can actually, if you have the questions in mind, you can get the answers. Now in today's date, if we are putting the questions properly, then getting an answer is not a big issue. So I suggest that you can go to the institute website. The institute is called Indian Institute of Oil Palm Research, IIOPR. When we joined, it was a national research center on oil palm. So slowly it became directorate and then became institute, and now it's a full-fledged institute, and they are working on all aspects of oil palm, where I was till 2011. And whatever I learned, basically from interest to afterwards looking into that, and then I different thoughts, it is all because of that institute. So actually it is because of that. And after being there and then synthesizing many things in the mind and doing lot of work means I was associated in many things. So I thought for the people, even for a botanist to an agriculturist, the people who are not aware, and even for a common man, we should know what is oil palm as a plant, as a crop, how usually it goes, what is the procedure, because though I am not in oil palm, these questions may be put to the Oil Palm Institute people quite frequently, but I also get called saying that, sir, I wanted to put, I have some land and I want to put oil palm. How to do that? So few of those questions will be answered today. So that's the reason the talk title of the talk is oil palm and palm oil, a common man's perspective. So starting with that, it is basically for that making this slide, there are few photographs and some data from internet we took, which I request that don't use for a commercial purpose because there may be issues. So it is purely for academic purposes and for knowledge. Coming to the crop, I have written two names, Elias guinensis and Elias olifera. These are most known crop. Of that, why it is Elias guinensis is too big letter, because this is the major crop. This is called African oil palm also. The palm oil what we get from Malaysia, it is mostly the Elias guinensis. There are other oil palm which is called Elias olifera. There it is little more liquid, means like palm oil is more saturated. This Elias olifera is little less, a little more unsaturated. So that way it is, you can say, better. Actually, the better, whether it is unsaturation is better or saturation is better, there's a big controversy. The way you want to use the oil, it depends. But then what I mean to say here is, Elias guinensis is the plant which we cultivate, as well as throughout the world. This is the major crop. Of course, Elias olifera also is there. And there are some efforts to make cross between them so that there is a balance between them. Now, it is a palm family. So palm family means it's a Araceae family. It's a monocot plant. And the botanists know what is monoecious and what is dioecious kind. Here, it is basically a monoecious plant. Monoecious plants means both the inflorescences are there in the plant, but the inflorescences are different. Male flower is different and female flower is different. It's not a hermaphrodite flower. Like when you see the palms, so it's very interesting. It's not the whole, all the palms are of same type. When you see the Palmyra palm, basically what we are seeing in case of a Palmyra palm, the big palm, there the male plants are separate and then female flower plants are separate. So they are completely dioecious plant. There's no chance that male plant will become female. There are some exceptional cases, that's a different thing, but it doesn't happen. Even in case of a papaya also sometimes happens. So there's actually different type, but in this case, it is male and female. Now I told one palm, then the other palm is there. In the same inflorescence, you get male and female also. Flowers are different. You know, the flowers are different, but the inflorescence is having both male and female. The example is coconut. If you see a bunch of a coconut, you will see at the bottom, you see separate female flowers are there. And at the top, there will be male flowers. So, but the flowers are different. If you see the date palms, date is like a Palmyra palm. Male flowers are different, female flowers are different. So this is the background of that. Now, why we are talking about the plant? We are talking because it is actually going to give oil. And it is known that more than 5,000 years, this picture was long time back I took from internet, that Egypt people, they used to say, because it is in Africa, so nearby African area, actually origin is Africa, I'll come to that. So it has been used for years together, means this palm oil is. And basically that guinensis name has come from that Guinea-Bissau. That this is the origin, this is the place in Western Africa. Because of that, the name means the name has come. And this olifera I told, which is actually native of America, in South America. Now, if you talk about that, this is the portion, this left side portion of this. These are the countries where the center of origin of oil palm. Then slowly it got spread over this, and then it is from years together with the slave trade. It was coming to Europe. So European people was colonized, and then they used to extract oil and do. Now, they used to do crude oil that was used for different purposes after doing different processing. But then with the modern technology, many other things has come into picture. Now, let us, means this is bit of a, means history, how they got distributed. So basically it is Africa. Cameroon, Ghana, those are the places. From there, mainly these European people were not actually bringing the plant as such. They were bringing oil through the ship. They were importing, means they were actually transporting the oil. But then 4 plants were taken, the 4 seedlings were taken from that botanical garden of Bogor, Indonesia in 1848. That is the inception of Southeastern Asian countries oil palm. From there, the oil palm has palm trees and has come to Malaysia, Indonesia, Thailand, all those places. There are lots and lots of oil palm. So basically, if you with the other aspect, initially since the 4 plants which has gone into that. So as an agriculturist, if you see this, basically what you will find, their genetic base is very less, very narrow. But afterwards, of course, there was one Dr. Rajanaidu. He is, you can say, sort of a the last word of oil palm, especially in Malaysia. He has got lots and lots of germplasm of any type from African countries. So if we are talking about the yield, these slides will be there, so you can see later. I'm not going into that. You can read that. But truly speaking, you know, the people who are working on the oilseed crop, the oil seeds, they give around 200, 300, 400, 500 kgs of oil per hectare. Whereas here the potential is too much. Even sometimes people talk about 10 tons oils, but on an average, you get 3 to 4, 3, 4, 5 tons of oil per hectare. That means the same amount of land, you are getting 10 times more oil. So this is the key word of oil palm, and that's the reason actually I'm interested to tell that what is it. So when you talk about that oil palm is giving 10 times more oil, which is a high energy, means among the carbohydrate, proteins, and fat, oil is actually having more energy. You know? So if some crop is giving you 10 times more yield, so naturally they will be required input also accordingly. Okay, so accordingly they give it. Again, I am not going to tell the details about the fertilizer doses and what it is. There are a lot of sites, mainly if anybody is interested to know or to grow them, they have to contact. I'll come to that. So now there are few pictures. I have quite a bit of slides, around 150, but then there are lots of photographs in that, because I am sure, because I have not seen till I went to the institute, the plant, So this is one of the plantations photograph. It looks when it is a small juvenile plants. Now, basically, this is one of the garden. When it becomes little big and bit of a hilly area, it looks like this. These are all the photographs which is from Kerala. That's why you are seeing sometimes in these 3 photographs, especially sometimes in a hill, sometimes in this. So this is in OPI, Oil Palm India Limited. There's a big plantation by Government of India, and this is a public sector unit. This is my institute, means earlier my institute. This is the main road, and sidewise there. So these photographs are taken. So photographs are taken by me. This is one of the garden in. This is called PCK, Palm Oil Corporation India Plantation Corporation of Kerala Limited. So PCKL is having this Government of Kerala. They have a plantation. There's beautiful falls is there near about. So if anybody goes, they can see the this plantation as well as this. And then when the plants becomes around 30, 40 years old, then the plants looks like this. Now, whatever we cultivate, they are all hybrid actually. I will come to that. But before that, why I am telling that in this context, you are seeing some plants are having big one rod in the side. These are mother palms. These are mother palms. This plant is a cross-pollinated crop, highly cross-pollinated crop. And because of that, it is like every plant is different. It is not like a mango or guava that you get a bioingene, means all the plants will be bioingene. You can do grafting and do it. So since it is propagated from seed, we get sort of a composite type of material, but then every palm is genetically different. So if it is different, then for crossing, suppose you are getting a female palm, we try to retain them as much time as possible. So after a certain level, it is very difficult to climb there. So during that period, they put long ladder, and then they go and do the pollination there. So it is around 30-35 years old plantation in Todupura. This is also in Kerala. This is very old. This was taken from the flight. It was near Rajmundry. So this is Godavari. So it was once I was going that time. So these are all actually oil palm plantation in this Andhra region. When it is in juvenile condition, it looks like this, and there are a lot of space vacant. So those spaces can be used for intercropping. So you have plants at the same time. First few years you will not get fruits, but you don't have to just wait and wait without any money. Means you can put some crops. More and more age goes, it's actually it canopy become big, and then slowly the land coverage free lands become less. But then you can grow some crops permanently which loves shade. So the other part in this is you see this oil palm crop is having lots of subsidies. So farmers they try to tie these plants, and many farmers tie these plants and get more land so that they can grow other crops. So by that way, what happens is these plants suffers. At the end of 4 or 5 years, they will come and tell, sir, we are not getting fruits, or we are not getting bunches properly. That's because actually they did not allow them to properly photosynthesize, and they have basically tortured them. So this is one part it goes. But then when the plants becomes, this is around 10 years old, 10 to 12 years old plantation. Again, our garden itself in Pedavegi, oil palm. And again, this is another photograph of from the terrace. This portion is oil palm plantation. This portion. Again, this is another plantation, and it looks like this. This is a huge. This diameters are huge. To be frank, I have seen coconut, arecanut, oil palm, royal palm, then date palm, but then so huge trunk you don't see. The other thing is these bracts. No, after the leaf we have to cut. Once we cut the leaf, they retain, means they stay here for a long period. You showed that no, when it becomes 30-35 years old, then it gets shaded off afterwards. But initially they will be there. And as I was telling, they give you 10 times more oil. So their biomass production is also very huge. They have almost 3 meters long leaf. That 3 meters long, 2 leaves every month they produce. So every 15 days you get a full leaf. So that leaves also has to be cut, and then they put as a vermicompost, or they put as a vermicompost or for mulching. And then when it becomes more bigger, see, this is in the center where I was there in Trivandrum. So there are a lot of ponds goes in that till the bracts are there. Afterwards, here you see the bracts are coming out. And then when this one, the plants are plant starts fruiting, you cut the leaf every month, 2 leaf, and it looks like this. And there's a circle, if you go, it goes like a circle. First leaf, and then again it will be coming 9th leaf. Then it will be coming 18th leaf. So like 17th leaf. So it goes like 9 it goes. It is not first 9, that means 8 it goes, right? So 1 plus 8 9 plus 8 17. So it will be going like this. Every 360 degree you will get, like DNA helix. No, it goes like so it goes like this. So this plant, these are the female flower, and on the top there may be some male flower. Usually some period you get lots of female flower, then there is a gap, and then you will get the male flower. Okay, so these are some photographs, and then it starts giving you fruits when it is 3 to 4 years. but there is a recommendation for the farmers that you don't harvest the fruits when it is very small plant. Small bunches you get, you don't get much of weight or oil from there, but then you actually trouble them, like very immature. So for 1 or 2 years, they cut all the plants. That process is called ablation. Afterwards, when the bunches become big, that is allowed. So this is big bunch, and we'll come to that. So when it ripes, usually it will be like this, dark purple color when it is immature, and then when it becomes mature, that becomes orange and red. So this is like this photograph is for, you have to harvest in a proper stage when it is ripe. If it is overripe, most of the fruit will fall and it is a loss. And if you are harvesting when it is immature, you don't get the oil. So this is a crucial period where the right stage of this oil palm has to be harvested. So this is a bunch. Here you get from 1,000 to 2,000 fruits in each. And each fruit, if you compare with a coconut, it looks like a coconut. Okay. So these are lots of fruits separately taken by us, and many cases in magazines and all we use them. This is actually the fruits of guinensis. This is the fruits from olifera, right? And now coming to the other part of this. So far, you knew how the plant looks. Any questions you can ask now or even means later. But then you came to know how the plant looks, and then you knew how the bunch looks, how the fruit looks. But then when you cut the fruits, so if you talk about a coconut, this is the mesocarp or the husk of a coconut. So this is the portion, and this is the shell. In Bengali we call narkel mala, and inside that, this is what is basically the kernel or the coconut, that coconut kernel, what we call, from there coconut oil comes out. So palm oil, when you are talking, other than your this oil palm, there are palm oils. This is typical example is what is called coconut oil, which is used. But then coconut oil, is this portion. So if you compare with a coconut, this is having a husk, this is having a shell, and this is having a nut. So if anybody asks where from we get the oil, we'll tell we get from inside. Yes, we get from inside, but then in case of oil palm, we get the oil from the mesocarp. So now if we go back to this fruits, when it is ripened, if you just press it, this oil will be dropping. Of course, there will be moisture in that has to be centrifuged and dried and all that. But then these mesocarps, what we are calling in case of coconut husk, just imagine if the coconut is the whole husk is having oil. So 100 kg, if you get a bunch, simple calculation, it is a thumb rule. If you get a bunch, 100 kg bunch, of course, bunch does not go up to 100 kg. It goes up to 50, 55, 60 kg bunches we get. It starts from 10, 12, 20, 15, whatever. So it is percentage wise to see, 20% oil will be from this mesocarp. The palm oil, what is there in the market, entire palm oil is this mesocarp oil. Okay. And inside we get around 2 kg of oil. So 100 kg bunch, you get outside oil is 20 kg. We are trying for more. The target is it should be around 27 kg or so. That's a different question. As a thumb rule, this portion will be having 20 kg, and this portion will be having 2 kg. But then what is this slide about? Actually, so far, palm oil, whatever is being cultivated, this is this particular type. Now coming to that, which will take another 1 minute to tell, there are 3 types of oil palm fruits. They are called fruit types. Some people say they are varieties, but they are called fruit types. So one type of fruits whose the shell is very, very thick. It is so thick, just it is an example, but even if you see, if the shell is so thick, its economic part is this portion and inside this portion. So because the cell is very, very thick, its economic part is very less. So this is called dura. And there is another fruit type where there is no shell, absolutely no shell, only mesocarp and this. But the problem is, everybody will say, sir, we'll cultivate this. But the problem is that this does not give you bunch. Sometimes after 3 years, one bunch comes. Sometimes after 5 years, one bunch comes. But then we have to keep on waiting for getting a bunch, and or even the bunch comes, only few fruits you get. So we have to cut and see whether this type the fruit is, which is called Piscifera. So it is in the nature, they got pollinated, and there are again another type came where the shell become very thin. You see this is an ideal kind of a fruit type where you get very less wastage. You get bunch continuously, which is having so much of mesocarp, and then kernel also. So now anything in the world which is grown by the farmers or by the corporates, there this hybrid is done. For that, there will be dura mother palm. I was showing you palms, no, where they have put a stick, means like this pole, like a ladder they have put there. So they will be finding which dura is having less shell and having more oil, and then they will find out typically Piscifera also. Then they will do a different cross combination, and then particular combination they will see which tenera is giving them. So this is what happens it is. And this shell gene is actually controlled by a single gene, which is segregated in 1:2:1. Now, when you want to get a dura or Piscifera, when you are growing them, many times there is an admixture, So a farmer, by mistake, you will not be able to know till you get the fruits. So a farmer who is growing the fruit, if he is growing them, and after 6 years or 7 years, putting so much of fertilizer, water, around 400 liters of water is needed per day per plant. After giving that, if they find that is wrong type, it's a waste. So there is a marker which is very much required for that. And when we were working, we tried to find some marker with some of the technologies. But at present, if you say they are inside, they seems to be, they have got the marker where they are able to find whether it is Piscifera, whether it's dura, or whether it's tenera, when it is in seedling stage itself. So if it is happening so, in seedling itself, we are able to detect them, then the right type can be done. Now comes to the other part, how we do that. So these are the male flowers of Piscifera, and we collect them, and you are seeing this. It is actually insect pollinated. In nature, it pollinates insect, but then when you are making the hybrid seed, that time you have to actually collect this pollen. So, and this is the female flower, right? So female flower has to be tagged, and then these are the criteria by which they actually see what are the means basically which type of female flower you will be taking. And then I was telling you have to find out a good dura. This is a mother palm. So which dura you will be taking? These are the criteria where FFB is free fruit bunches. So when you get the bunch size should be 130. This is the threshold value. You always try to go for a better one. So if you get a better mother palm, that you will try to cross with a better father palm or a Piscifera palm. So where you get more mesocarp, more oil, this analysis has to be done. And then what they do, before the flower opens, in case of a female flower, that everything is removed and then sterilized, and then they are bagged actually. They inside the plant. On the top of that, they will be putting a cloth bag. These bags are actually ordered, and there will be a whole plastic hole in that, right? This is a harvested bunch actually. Then at the same time, what we do, female inflorescence, we cut and take when the pollen comes, and then dust and keep it. So we usually dust, and this is a net. This is like a we sheep that atta, no, this kind of a net, and in that, after sieving, these are the pollens. This can be preserved. This the good thing is you can do preserve for more and more time at a means lower temperature. So cryopreservation of this pollen is a big area where you can keep, otherwise also in the fridge, you can keep for quite some time, because when the female flower is opening, that time only you have to go for pollination. So that's what happens. And this looks like that. This is a mother palm. All these palms are tied with a bag where there's a small hole. So when the flowers opens, every day you have to go and see whether the flowers are opening or not, the stigma is opening or not. When it opens, somebody goes, this is a typical indigenously developed method where you put the pollen, and pollen is not put as such, that is put with talc. So with the talc, you dilute it and then to dust it. Just you'll be putting one side of the tube. You can do without blowing, that person is blowing, but without blowing also, just by a bulb you can just press, and then here there will be a injection syringe. So that is put there, and then from the hole, if you do, it gets full like a smoke and gets pollinated. And then you allow them to mature, you take them out, and then this plant does not give the what is called germination very easily. If natural condition, if you keep a bunch, it will slowly and slowly germinates for almost 1.5 years. Some fruit someday, some fruit someday, some fruit someday. So that's a big issue, because I have to cultivate and I have to put it in my field. I need all the seeds together. So this is a industrial sort of a technological process by which we actually make the seed production. We call seed production. So after the anthesis, there are few seed gardens who actually germinate them and sell it. So it is not the seed, if it is given, you will be doing. And for that, there is a freezing, thawing, soaking is there, so that there is an operculum which gets loosened because of freezing, thawing, soaking, and then it starts germinating. So this is the process of seed production. With that, sometimes, and it takes almost around 5 to 6 months. And after that, almost 80% of the seeds germinates together. They are called sprouts. So you'll be seeing like this at a time. It is coming like this, and they are very delicate. At present, probably the seed cost will be around 50 rupees each, one seed, or even more. The price I had in Facebook, sometimes I was telling, and then government gives subsidy for that, the farmers also. But interesting thing is, farmers cannot buy this seed. This has to be purchased by, I'll come to that. So this sprouts, this small sprouts, what you are seeing, this is the thing which is sold in the market, not the seed. And this is what is the sprout. And this has been developed in India by the same institute what I am telling, and this is the seed production unit. I was there during that period when this building was made, and the entire room is kept with a fridge and kept for that. So different companies used to come for buying the seeds. After the seeds, what happens? Goes to the nursery. You will be putting in a small poly bag for some time, then you put in a big poly bag, and then when it becomes around 1 year to 1.5 years, that time they are planted. This is a nursery. And there are big nurseries where it is done with a sprinkler. These are all nurseries, small nurseries. This left side is small nurseries. It goes almost for 3 to 4 months in that. Afterwards, they are put in a bigger bigger bags, and then they do it mechanized sprinkler irrigation. And after that, the whole big one, you are seeing this poly bag, when it is becoming like this 1 year or so, they will be put in a pit. The pit size is 1 feet by 1.5 feet by 1.5 feet by 1.5 feet, like there. It can be, exact measurement you can get from the website itself. But then what I was telling is, you put there and then fill it with the water and put proper fertilizer dose, and the plant grows slowly and slowly. It goes there. I have put, this is a very old data. It is my own slide, but then you have to put the plants, 143 plants only you can put in 1 hectare, because the spacing will be 9 meter by 9 meter by 9 meter. Understood? So fertilizer dose, that period of time was there. And soil scientists and agronomists, they do keep on doing the experiment. So when they keep on doing experiments, their fertilizer doses and then their application time, they will be changing. So it goes there. Now the interesting part is, I was telling, when you grow these crops, only 143 plants in 1 hectare. And for 3 to 4 years, you will be seeing that lots of lands are vacant. For that, there are lots of package has come for intercrop. So they have lots of crops which can be grown as intercrop. So I have few pictures of that. I have written vegetable, anything. When it is an open space, anything can be grown in that. This, you are seeing that in between oil palm is there, and they are growing whatever in that particular area can be grown, you can grow them. But then when it becomes bigger, when the shade comes, then you have to grow the shade-loving crops. One of the very good crop of, you can grow maize, you can grow tobacco, you can grow banana, you can grow okra. But then when it becomes big, that time the shade-loving crops like cocoa is a very, very good crop. Understood? So this is typically cocoa and oil palm. And cocoa is a means essential ingredient for chocolates. So this is the cocoa. Inside that there will be seeds, and then that is roasted and done. So cocoa is done. You can do lots of flowering plants, because flowering plants they need shade, many of the cases. So beautiful flowering plant. This is actually we call it birds of paradise. I forgot that. I think heliconia. This is the name is. This is your ginger lily. These are all from that oil palm garden. I took the photographs because I did not know that time I'm going to talk, but then it looks beautiful there. In that, I just want to tell the major problem. There are lots of diseases and pests, and you can contact the institute for that. But one of the diseases which I was working with is Ganoderma. Understood that when the plants matures, that time it comes lignified tissues, and you can't detect them. Only when the plant falls, you see this kind of brackets are coming, fruiting bodies are coming. So we were trying to detect through some marker, and we did that. It got published also. We take the samples, and if those means Ganoderma is present, a virulent Ganoderma, then we recommend, usually pathologists recommend that you put fungicide. Okay. The other part is harvesting. Naturally, plant can grow for 100 years, And the most interesting thing, both our coordinators are Bengali. I'll tell you, first time in India, 2 plants came, oil palm came in Botanical Garden in Calcutta. Those plants are not there, but that was first time it came. There are very old books, I could not get them. So this was in Calcutta Botanical Garden, they have put there. Britishers have put those plants. But what I'm telling is this can grow up to 100 years, but then how do you harvest? So there are lots of efforts are going on to mechanize them, but beyond 35 years or so, it becomes very, very difficult. Initially, they do like this. Afterwards, they climb and do. Then we were trying to do all sorts of machineries. But then if you have a machinery, the problem is you cannot put the intercrop. So this is a big problem. Now, whatever it is, once it gets harvested, they are taken to a collection center. And in that center, they take it and then goes to the factory. This is captive factory. Like tea garden, they will be under a company like this in Malaysia, Indonesia, big companies, plantations are there, thousands of hectares. So they have rail from the field itself, the rail will be coming, and they directly goes to the sterilizer. So otherwise in India, what happens is the bunches will be taken by bullock carts, tractor, all these things. And then the factory people will purchase this. And after that, those inside the factory, this kind of different sterilizer will be there. So they will put inside the sterilizer. It's actually autoclave, but it is done for 1 hour. Once it is done, the fruit gets loosened. And once the fruit gets loosened, this is a drum where they heat that. So bunch will be separate, fruits get separated. Then they will make a paste of these fruits, and then those fruits are put in a screw press. Like as we extract juice, they extract the juice like oil. So once this juice goes, this will be centrifuged because they will be having water, and then oil is lighter, so it will be on the top. So they will take it out, and then they slow heating, they dry it. After drying, they will be putting in a storage tank. Those tank, this is what is the centrifuge. This is the storage tank. But this storage tank, just like that, you cannot put the oil because it becomes like ghee. So it becomes solidified. Then how do you sell it? So all the storage tank will be having a steam jacket. So everything is different, everything like not like any other oil. So it has to be kept in a liquid condition, right? So this is in brief the process. This will be there. Now, I was talking about the olifera and guanensis. The very easy method of identifying two crops is here the leaves will be alternate. One is up, one is down. But here in case of olifera, you see plain. And there are lots of efforts are going on. I don't know what's the status now of this interspecific hybrid. I took in 2004 these pictures where this olifera and guanensis has been crossed and made some interspecific hybrid. And we made some marker to identify which are the interspecific hybrids on that. Understood? And then we did some oil quality analysis of different palms. I just showed the data. You don't forget about it. It's my data. You can use it. There's no problem. So these are the oil quality when we talk about the fatty acid composition. So if we talk about the saturated and unsaturated overall, then it is actually 50 and 50, 50% saturated, 50% unsaturated, like this it comes. And now you are seeing one bunch is 50 kg, 60 kg, one plant is there. How do you say this plant is good and this plant is bad? For that, there is a process called bunch analysis. One whole bunch has to be cut into different portions, and you take only 5 grams of mesocarp and find out how much is the oil in that. And that has to be very, very representative and very systematic it should be. And we did, when I was there, we made a bunch analysis method, and there's a proforma, and by which we usually do that. We typically in a sock slate we do, and in a sock slate, usually single sample instead of single sample, we do multiple samples, and by minusing how much oil has gone out, we find out. So we do that. So these are the technical bulletins. When I was there, it is done. There are many things which have been developed, but what I'm telling is this is one of the things. Whenever you get materials, you have to do germ plasm evaluation. Other than quantity of oil, quality of oil is also important. So typically by GC we do that, right? And then this part I'll not touch because I actually wanted to talk too much. That is what I was asking our coordinator, how much is the time? Because there'll be automatic, some questions will be coming, So now by this time you understood that Tenera plant, which is a hybrid, which is nothing but capital T, small t type. Basically one shell and one capital shell, one small shell is present there. You cannot produce seed from there because they will segregate. So only way is to do tissue culture, which has already been told. And that is the importance. Every plant is different. So, and then the problem with this plant is it does not actually sucker. Like in case of a date palm, you get 2-3 things. Many plants, you get more than one meristem, but here it is only single meristem. If you take the meristem, it dies. So we tried doing the immature inflorescence, and from there we are trying there. And basically, these are the things which I'm not going to touch, which I believe Dr. Jayanti has talked with that. And we did lots of fatty acid composition. Forget it. This is not for the people. But one thing I just wanted to tell, many cases, farmers, they are in hurry that we have got so much of bunch, let it go and we'll get the money. But we did an experiment. We saw 1 week, if we are early harvesting, farmers will not get much loss, but the factory will not get the oil. That's because the last phase where the oil synthesis becomes more. So at right stage, harvesting is extremely, extremely important. And with the crop, another very, very interesting thing, which I have not actually published so far, and I don't think I'll be able to publish, but huge data I have, that the fruits, different parts of the fruits having different quality as well as quantity of oil. Different parts of the bunch is having different quality and quantity of oil. Now, so far I was talking about a purple color bunch, immature bunch, but you see sometimes a green color. So this is called migrations. This is called variations. We tried to find out if there is any difference in the quality or so. We could not find that, except for seeing the thing so far. Now, the question what I was asking is, if suppose somebody wants to grow oil palm, so interesting, so much of oil, so much of profit. So how do we go with that? Basically, you can't do unless until your field or your crop is tied up with a factory. So, because what you'll do, you cannot keep the other interesting thing is once the bunch is mature, once you harvest the bunch, within 24 hours, it has to be processed theoretically. Otherwise, the oil quality gets degraded. It actually free fatty acid starts increasing. So what to do? If a farmer wants to grow them, then first thing he has to do is he has to contact nearby factory. Now the factory will go and give a demand to Oil Palm Institute saying that we need this much of seed, because Oil Palm Institute is coordinating how much of seed to be imported and how much of seed means the sprout, what I'm telling. So once their farmers is told to the factory, first one team will go and visit their field, whether you have water, whether your soil is okay, whether you can sustain for 30-35 years in that. Once it is okay, then they will be linked with a factory person. Factory will come and tell this person wants to grow in 10-acre lands or 50-acre or 50-hectare land. So accordingly, this many seeds will be required. Accordingly, pollination will be done. And if we don't have that much, then there will be import permit is given that you can import those seeds. Then factory will buy the sprouts. I have shown the germinated seed, no? Those germinated seeds will be purchased by the factory. They will grow 1.5 years old seedlings. Those seedlings will be sold to the farmers. Farmers will give a part and government will give other part. Now, how much will the oil price, that also is decided by the government, because many cases, this is a big controversy. So how much oil extraction rate, that is a big factor which decides what will be your FFB prices. And this is the order where it shows what will be the formula, right? So bit complicated kind of thing, but then a farmer has to first go to the institute or to a factory. They will take you to a proper place and tell, yes, this much of seed is required. But then the day you ask that I want to grow, it will take 2 to 3 years to get a seedling for growing there. A seedling means, like, suppose you are going for 2 hectares, you will be requiring 286 of number of seedlings. So that will be given to you, or you can purchase that. Now, after that, there are lots and lots of byproducts. And this is one of the things which we developed. The bunch is khali. Now there is no more fruits in that. Oil has come from there. The nuts are also cracked, and which I have not shown here. Nuts are cracked, and from their shell is taken. And the oil, water comes out of the nuts, that is called kernel oil. And that oil is much more costly, mostly used for the cosmetic industry. And you know what is the cost of cosmetics? So costly things. So they are mostly used from different cosmetics and high value products. Now, this is almost looking like waste, but then we can extract fiber from there, which is actually substitute of coir. This machine has been developed by us. Dr. Jayasri, who is there now in Spices Research Institute, myself, both were there in a project. And then we developed this. And from there, what fiber you get, there you can get mattresses, you can make rope, you can make mat. You can actually blend with coir also. So, and then whatever biomass is left, you can use that for biogas production. If you can make papers, you can make if you are not doing anything, since it is already sterilized, you can use them for mushroom cultivation. Then of course, like your cocoa peat kind of things, you can make this. And then you make charcoal, you can make compost like this. Now from the oil actually looks like that. From the crude palm oil, CPO is called crude palm oil. From there, you can actually extract the carotene as such. I'll show when it comes to the oil part, I'll show that. So this also we indigenously done there. This is my lab's photograph at that point of time. And then this is the process by where from the CPO, we could get concentrated carotenoids, which can be made as a capsule and can be used. So this is your plant parts. Now coming to the palm oil, it is. I know that it is a bit fast, but then I'm a little relaxed that actually it is in YouTube and you can go back and front and you can see means what it is. Now coming to palm oil, basically, as I was telling, this is a typical Tenera plant. So this is mesocarp oil, this is kernel oil. Many cases you will be seeing this photograph. mostly this is taken from, this picture is taken from internet. It's a beautiful photograph for to show this is a palm oil fruits, and this fruits looks like this much of size, maybe around 1.5 to 2 inch size. And this is red palm oil, and this is RBD palm oil, refined, bleached, and deodorized. Now, why I took this picture, this from internet. I had, but I actually could not get it yesterday. See, when you extract the crude palm oil, exactly it looks like that. Top portion will be like this red color and liquid, and bottom portion will be like ghee. The top portion is called olein, and bottom portion is called stearin. Since it is saturated, it is at the bottom, as well as it is like a fat, like a ghee. And this portion is oleic acid is more, so it is called olein. So what they do, they separate it. And top portion is sold in the market for cooking oil, which is called palmolene. Palm and olein, that is why it is called palmolene. Bottom portion is not as such available in the market for cooking. That goes as a very high value banaspati, what we call dalda or whatever it is. If your normal dalda is 200 rupees kg, that will be 400 rupees kg. That's because cake, pastry, biscuit, everywhere this is used. And this is naturally saturated. If you are hydrogenating a vegetable oil, then you are using hydrogen and nickel catalyst. Because of that, the oil becomes trans. You will be seeing the level trans free. So where it is naturally saturated, you are not doing hydrogenation. So it is actually trans free. Like ghee, no, they say ghee is good. Ghee is not as bad as like if you are a hydrogenated things. So same thing, and that is the main reason where most of the industrial product, including your biscuits to cake to pastry, chocolate, everywhere they use the palm oil product. This is one of the RBD palm oil, refined, bleached, deodorized. Actually, this is a very, very high value product. It's a red. If you can retain this, there is some smells comes, odor comes. So to remove the odor, it's not so easy to remove the odor. So if you are not able to remove the odor, what they do a very harsh treatment by which odor also goes, your color also goes, and it is refined also. By that way, this palm oil is the richest source of beta carotene. We have around 700 ppm of beta carotene, where your carrot you get around 60, 70 maximum ppm of beta carotene. It's a huge amount of beta carotene we lose it. But then, of course, the oil palm growing country does not do that. Now coming to that, I am not bothered. I don't eat palm oil. No one in earth actually who eats oil, they eat palm oil. Means like by some or the other means. So this is basically a production in the world. So 32% oil is palm oil in the whole world. Now, if you talk about the consumption, palm oil consumption in the whole world is 31.8%, and it's a recent data. I actually substituted yesterday night, 2 o'clock, this 31%, 31.8% oil what we eat is palm oil. So this is globe. So what? We are Indians, we are eating mustard oil, ghee, desi ghee, hame to jarurat nahi hai, but it is not so. This is the picture of 2020-21, and it is by Indian Association, Solvent Extractor Association. 38% of edible oil is palm oil. Where do you go? From there, not even 1% we are producing. Everything is getting imported, and that is the reason Prime Minister is giving so much of emphasis. I am here to actually educate people that it is nothing to get scared. We are eating. We are eating. You will be seeing that. And at present, this is basically 17-18 data, and I took from IIOPR site. And if you see, this much metric ton of import we are doing. Understood? This is the year in 2020 where our production is only this much. 8.4 million metric ton of import we do palm oil, whereas we produce not 0.2 million ton. So there are lots of scopes. People have to be educated. There are a lot of land, but only thing is I am not gone into that. There are some challenges. but at least awareness will be there. In 1 hour, you cannot cover everything. But then interesting thing is, this is a edible part of the oil. This oil is equally used for edible and non-edible purpose. There are some cases where the palm oil for non-edible purpose is must. You won't believe it is must, like your soap. All the good quality soap which costs 60 to 70 rupees, like your Liril to what is called that glycerin soap, like Pierce to whatever good brand of soap, they are all made from palm oil, because their length, fatty acid chain is so good that you get the best quality oil from palm oil. And basically Godrej is having so much of palm oil they produces, because Godrej produces lots of soap. Otherwise you have to procure that. So this is a chain where we are telling they actually fraction it. You have seen the liquid, you have seen the solid. So little the fraction, and each fraction is having different kind of use. Understood? So this is what it goes, this chain. And they have so many use. One of the non-edible use is what is called non-edible, very important use is biofuel. And this is palm kernel oil. So palm kernel oil is, this is the way it uses. And there are many, you know, in the confectionery, they make so many things. And then they have edible as well as for oleochemicals. No, here the cosmetic it goes. So this is a chain. Actually, I had a book chapter long back. From there I took that. What are the uses of crude palm oil? Means basically the mesocarp oil. One, what are the uses of palm oil? It is like they call no kalpataru biksha kind of thing. From everything of this plant is useful, and enormous number of product you get from there. Now, what I was trying to tell you in this, you know, that you get lots of biodiesel, you know, from there. And this slide is to educate whosoever wants to see, they can see that whenever your petroleum product or your petrol or diesel price increases, your edible price increases. I don't know whether you have observed or not, but this is a fact and this is a graph. The very simple reason is, actually when the petroleum price goes beyond a threshold level, this palm oil is diverted towards biodiesel. The moment palm oil is diverted towards biodiesel, you are shortage of edible oil. So all oil price goes high, and now you are buying 250 rupees soybean oil only because the petroleum product price is more. Let it come down to 50 rupees petrol price, you will see that your oil prices become 100. Understood? Means like an edible price. And the people who are there in the helm of affair, they know very well. But for a common man, edible price and crude oil price is tightly linked, and in between who is the pivot or who is the junction point is the palm oil. So it is very, very interesting, you know. There are a lot of malpractices. This slide I wanted to explain a little more, but then time will be shorter, so I'm not telling that. Government put import duty time to time, and in that import duty, if the oil is imported as crude, that import duty is less. When it is refined and almost ready to sell kind of things, there the price is more. And many companies, they do malpractice. That's what that story I don't have time to tell. It will take 10 minutes to tell, but I'm not telling that. So they do malpractice, and somehow they bring the refined oil, but they show that it is a crude oil, and then they actually so much of import duty or tax they don't give. This is what I wanted to show you is they are taken for one of my Facebook article. I was just trying to tell people that you eat palm oil, there is no other go. Understood? This is probably a Good Day biscuits pack. Understood? So defined weight, defined palm oil and palm oil. Understood? Just keep seeing. And tomorrow you go, or today you go and see whatever label brand is there where the oil is used, they are all palm oil. This is again potato chips, you know. So, you know, vegetable oil, palmolene oil, rice bran oil. So palmolene cannot go off. This is again another potato chips. Here I think it is the oil, which oil they have not given. Here again it is another brand of biscuit. This is probably your this cream cracker. So saturated, monosaturated fatty acids. So they have not okay, fat, saturated fatty acid, mono, poly, trans. So here they have not mentioned, but I was just trying to show that it is actually uh, 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 whatever fats they are using here, they are all basically coming from the palm oil. Now I just want to show a few pictures that what are the other byproducts. It is a carotenoids they make separate and sell as a capsule. Vitamin E, in vitamin E, here the palm oil is having one particular vitamin E which is called tocotrienol. Tocopherol is the vitamin E, but then it is tocotrienol which is present only in palm oil, and it actually means cures bad what's called breast cancer. So it's a means a lot of work has been done on that. But then as a vitamin E capsule is used here, this is the one. Tocotrienol is there in palm oil. Vitamin E contains and fatty acid, tocopherol and tocotrienol. Tocotrienol is not there in other. So these are the different uses of palm oil and different uses of. So it is starting from your engine oil to candle to plastics to this some of the plastic box. Then soap. This is non-food and food. Anything in the food which you eat outside, they will be having palm oil. This is in brief one process how the RBD palm oil are being produced. RBD is refined bleached deodorants. Understood? They do the refining process. I'm not going in detail. That's what I'm with relief. Anybody can see fully any of the slides and get back. It is all for you. I think this is my last slide about the technicality. And basically, if you talk about me, I'm a simple ICAR scientist working here at NIPB at present. This institute name is National Institute of Plant Biotechnology. I did my BSc Agriculture in 1998, MSc Biochemistry, PhD Biochemistry from IRI here itself. And then I worked on fodder crop for 5 years. Then I worked on oil palm in these two institutes from 1999 to 2011. And then from 2011 onwards, I'm in rice and wheat mostly. So one sentence, this is what we wanted, one big sort of a recommendation. It's called K. Chadda, one of the great horticulturists. So there we put a quote saying that it's of course around 12 years, 13 years back story, but then it prevails proportionately, you can say like this. With 27 million hectare under oilseed, different oil like mustard oil, groundnut oil, India produces 7 million tons. And if you can put only 1 million hectare of oil palm, you can get 5 million tons of oil with average of 5 tons per hectare. So here I end. This is the institute, beautiful institute. It looks so good. Of course, this is when it was just done, but it looks very, very good. I should thank ICAR for even today I'm talking, whatever I knew for oil palm, I'm able to tell to the people, to the students, to the whosoever it is. And IIOPR, of course, that institute what gives all the directors of IIOPR, from the founder director I joined, Dr. Retinam, and at present Dr. Mathur, we work together, all the directors, and Dr. RSN Pillai, he's no more. But for him, I learned many things in oil palm because he was almost like my elder brother. And that's all it is. I'm ready for oil palm, whatever I can, but then I can give some clue. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. It's a great. And yes, I know if we allow one day, you can talk in oil palm. That's why it's a compiled story, everything. Sir, if we get any time, so we can go for the little bit discussions regarding mainly for the as you said, that how farmer can buy this form of these things, because it's a little bit I wanted to elaborate these things a little bit because there is some questions related to. and I collect all the questions. I request Soma to go for the interactive session for your interview session. So our participants get some more time to give their questions. Then we go for the question answer round. So I request Soma, please go for the interview session. And I request all the participants, please put your questions here. I will collect. I already collect all the questions. And if you have any questions related to SARS bio or topic or any suggestions from our speakers, you may put your questions here in YouTube live chat. Shoma.
Yeah. Okay, so we are back for our interactive session. Our speaker today gave a wonderful presentation on palm oil, and we are very fortunate to have him on our virtual platform today. Sir, we would love to know how you built your career. Could you please share your journey as a plant scientist with our viewers?
Basically, I know you are going to ask this, but then I'm not telling so flowery things. You know, most of us really don't know when you are studying in school what we are going to do. So same thing happened with that. When I was studying in school, my ambition was to become school teacher, because they are role model in front of you.
Yes.
But then when I joined in chemistry honors, and then after 1 year of that, you feel that what is the opportunity and what job you are going to get, because you look for a job. It is not that I want to be. Primarily, we are not that intelligent that yes, I want to become this and I will become this. If there are people like who wish from the beginning that I want to become like this. Primarily, me, as I am telling, no, it is I took as it came, and it is all by default. It is nothing planned. But then when I was in chemistry honors in Calcutta University itself, next year I saw two of my friends. They left when same year, joined in BSc Agriculture, and I told, why are you going? They told we get job in bank. So next year we applied, and I was not interested because I was doing good in university, and I was means teachers were having very good relation with us, means me especially. But then one of my friend, he is now agriculture officer. He's a district officer in West Bengal. He almost forced me, and we no, we'll go, and then we joined. And then when we went there, we saw it is not bank. There are like a whole big world is there if you study agriculture. Means like you won't believe the friends of ours are you can't even, if I give the biodata, you will not able to count how many are there in Lancet and how many papers in Nature. He studied with us, so it's like as you want it to be. Since I had bit of chemistry background from the beginning, I had a affinity towards biochemistry. And then I got a chance to be in IRI. Otherwise, I might have taken agronomy, because otherwise I'm from a farmer's family, and agronomy I love. Things like you heard today also, I'm basically a molecular biologist, but mostly I talked about agriculture. So I came and joined in biochemistry IRI, did PhD. After that, it is again agriculture scientist. I did not apply for any job except for ARS. So ARS, they put me in grass. Then for my personal reason, I had to be in oil palm, but then I loved oil. So that is the reason after 12 years, then 2011, again, IRI is my alma mater. I got a chance, so I came back. But then, you know, oil palm I love. And you won't believe last means that Hindi, 1 month, Hindi month they celebrate. No? On that day, from our institute, they published a book called Anuvanshiki. Understood? So it is genome in Hindi. So it is a Hindi magazine. So I wrote the first issue itself, I wrote an article on oil palm. So because say papers we are writing, see, we in our field we are writing paper, we are getting opportunity to go to conference and do, but whatever little I know, at least if some question comes to me, I can direct. It is not that I will be able to
Right.
tell how to cultivate, but I can tell that you contact this person. And this is what happened. Many people I have introduced with our company.
That's important, yes. Sir, what motivates you to work for the betterment of agriculture?
Yeah, it is very, very important, see, we did not, as I told, it's all by default. But when we came to agriculture, we realized, I am proud. Many of the cases, the agriculture scientists, they compare themselves with a plant scientist. Plant scientist or a typical plant biologist is for the sake of knowledge, but agriculture is for food.
Right.
Understood. So we have to always think that if I am doing something, what way it is going to give food to the people.
Yes.
And that motivates,
Right. So true. Sir, according to you, which sectors of plant science research will prosper in the near future?
It is a integrated thing. So there is no single field will do. Like if you take genome editing, or if you take transgenic in a molecular biology, or if you say any of the field alone cannot do. Understood. In agriculture, there's around 25 subjects are there. You may not require, like if you say which field of medicine will prosper. You don't know tomorrow whether I will be having a kidney problem or I will be having a brain problem. So everything is important. And moreover, few disciplines that together has to work for the development always. So it is not a single discipline will do anything.
What are your thoughts on climate change and global warming effects on agriculture?
Climate change is a terminology. Climate is changing. That's why we are here. If there was no change of climate on Earth, then we would have been a hot world. There would not have been any human being. But what I am meaning is man-made climate change. Naturally, climate is going to be changed. Again, sun will go off after millions of years. Will be frozen. No creature will be there on Earth, and nothing on the Earth. Nothing in the universe is permanent. But we are not talking about that. What we are meaning climate change is man-made climate change. They have to be conscious, conscious, and more than we do anything, little bit of a what is called integrated approach, like a policymakers, scientists, people, public awareness, everything is required. Understood.
What is your opinion on GM crops, and do they have a future in attaining food security?
GM alone cannot attain food security. It has to be integrated, and it has to be definitely there. See, anytime any technology comes, there will be an apprehension. And what happens is any kind of mechanization, at some point of time, there's so much of protest by some group. Even we ourselves were protesting because computer came into the bank. We thought every job is going to go because computer comes. So that was a different kind of a perspective. But then here, so much of fear for nothing. It is a time-tested thing, and nobody is telling for a GM crop, because of late, if you say last 1 week, this question is very, very pertinent when you talk, because GM mustard is released for commercial cultivation. Today's Hindustan Times editorial is there. Dr. N.K. Singh yesterday in Doordarshan gave a lecture for half an hour. And then it is quite relevant, and you are all plant biologists. You should basically do such kind of program. Especially you call people who are who can scientifically explain that there's nothing to worry. That is one. Second is the fear what people have. They are all cross-checked. Unless and until they are all the regulatory process, all the pros and cons are tested, nobody is telling that you just do something and release it. And a technology, we are seeing that it is going to give you a benefit. Naturally, it has to be integrated along with the other technologies or other agricultural methods. So definitely it has to come.
So true. We actually had one such webinar where it was specifically for GM crops. Sir, what is your opinion on digital agriculture, and is it wise to combine artificial intelligence and agriculture?
Yeah, it is time to come, it comes. But then, in India, I told you the example. Of course, I never anticipated this question and told. the problem for us is we have to have an opportunity to put our human resources. We have so many people, you know, we are not able to do mechanization because what our other people will do. Understood? Primarily, we have small lot land holding. That is one part. Second is they are engaged. This is called disguised unemployment. One tractor, what can do that 10 people are doing cultivation. So now one step, another step, this basically once mechanization, then you are going to the robotics, then you are telling the robot to automatically decide by artificial intelligence. And artificial intelligence is there very much. You are seeing that. You just give a search for an umbrella, next 3 days, anything you search, they will be giving advertisement for umbrella. Nobody is doing that. It is all artificial intelligence. So artificial intelligence in robotics in agriculture will be coming. But then for our country to come, it may take little time. It will come. It will definitely come. And many of the cases, probably they have already started. You are seeing many videos, no? But for our country, we are seeing, you know, our manpower or the human resources has to be diverted to somewhere so that agriculture can be by only a few people, so that all these kind of things can be adopted.
Exactly. Thank you so much, sir. We're coming to a question where our viewers would benefit. Like there are many MSc students, so and also PhD scholars. How should a scholar handle long periods of experimental failures or unsuccessful events?
This is nothing to do with experiment alone. There are failures in life for anything, you know. So you have to keep patience. It is very easy to say. It is very easy to say, and moreover, when time is going out, you have, see, when you are doing a research, you have 5 years fellowship, and it is not. I'm telling no. Many people come to the research. That's because they don't have any other things to do. Understood? You give an opportunity after BSc that you are given 1 lakh rupees job. You see how many people are coming to research. So now, if why I'm telling that is keeping that in mind, how many people will be able to sustain failure for a longer period because they are doing research or they are looking for a job, scientific job, where they get satisfaction because whatever they have learned, they can apply, they can use that for development of the country, development of whatever they have learned. But then this insecurity always haunts, you know. So means together it has to be bit mature that it will come. Primarily, I'll tell you, this is what we say. Means what you are asking, no, this is a daily problem with our students. I have here 10 students. They are either SRF or they are students. What they are going to do next? So naturally, when one something gets failure, they get worried. Sir, ek saal to kharab ho gaya. Basically, you have to mature and you have to be sincere. I'll tell you at the end, if you are able to do a good work, people are there to see. And there are two things. One is there are so many people around who are not getting proper things. And the other thing is we are looking for a very good person, but we are not getting a right person. So basically, if you are able to make yourself competent, there is no dearth of job. People are looking for you, basically. That's what.
Okay. Sir, what qualities and concerns should we look for when we initiate professional collaborations?
Professional collaboration with the other scientists or other partners, you want me to say? There are two things. One is all collaborations are not by your choice. Understood? True. So like many of the cases, like in IRI, we don't get students by our choice. It is students who choose us. So you can't do anything. Even a bad student sometimes comes and do there. So many of the, this is part one, that many of the cases, collaborators are already decided by the funders or they suggest you take that. But then if given a chance, competence and compatibility. See, you have to be compatible. Every day if I argue with you, and even if you are good or very good, it doesn't help actually. So it has to be, that exchange has to be there between both. So compatibility has to be there. And of course, competence has to be there. As long as you cannot do just like that, since you are my friend, it cannot be a collaborator. if given a choice. But then that does not happen in all cases, as I told in the first instance.
Very well put, sir. Sir, when you hire a researcher or a fellow, what qualities do you look for other than academics?
Yes. So interesting thing. Actually, what everybody wants, you forget about student. Anywhere, what they want that he will solve my problem. Now, the problem is scientific in case of your research. If you're a shopkeeper, problem is sale, or if you're a sale executive, your things should go. What we call them? We call them manager. And that is the reason the people who are in management, they get highest pay. Most of the IITs, they go for management. Understood? Because managing thing is extremely important.
Right.
Along means you have what you told, taken that into consideration. That other than academic qualification means you are competent.
Yes.
But competent alone will not do. Every day you come with a problem and you don't have any solution for that, nobody can help. So a problem and solution has to be together. So how good you manage a lab, you are there in a lab. You have to manage yourself first. You have to make yourself fit there. But unfortunate thing is, you do an interview for 15 minutes. How do you know that you will be managing? I wanted to extend this answer a little more because some point of time it may be heard by somebody, and it is an opportunity to put my thought. What happens? You are interviewing one person by what kind of question you can put. Primarily, we are not a HRD specialist. We usually ask means academic questions, and based on that we select, and many of the cases it becomes strong. But the other part, suppose I have got a good SRF, we don't want to leave that person till he actually get a good opportunity. If he is applying for the other project or other stuff, if I have a chance to take him as a permanent thing here, we'll try to put him here because we know that he managed well.
Right.
So a time-tested person who is competent as well as able to do the management will be always preferring. But how to know that? It takes some time. But if you know that person is okay, then we go by that.
Okay. That was very enlightening for the students. And one final question, like a conclusion to this session. What would your words of advice be to the students and scholars who are new to the field of plant science research?
Actually, that's what basically plant science is a basic science. As long as it is not a technology, nobody wants knowledge. Understood? Knowledge can give you a Nobel Prize, but as long as it is not applicable, that don't give you a job. Okay. So you have to keep your endurance. That's what it happens, where the applicability is there, you get a better salary. Whether you know or not doesn't matter at all. If you are able to solve the problem, if it is required, then it's okay. But suppose I found something in a plant, and it's not only a plant, as such in biology, if you talk about. So that's what it happens. You actually gather so much of knowledge, and you get so good papers, but then how to use them? Since there is no immediate use of them, you are not hired much. So in that case, you have to focus on two things. One is in teaching, that you actually teach whatever level it is. You have to have a very high level of clarity. Right. So you go to it teaching in a good institute, which is very, very important. And the other thing is you go to the research. I mean, teaching research goes hand in hand. You keep doing research and try to make a applicability. Like you see, Dr. Pentel, he has started 20 years back, and after retirement, it is seeing the day of light. Understood? Right. It is only because it's a technology. The science of Barney's and Buster, how it happens, it is known long back. But as long as you don't make it a use, people don't give you much lift or much salary or job or anything. So primarily all the biology students, they look for an opportunity, what will do. So you have to be very thorough. One thing you keep that teaching is a field where you can do well. Communication is very important. It's not that what you know, how you actually put to the person who is sitting in front of you or listening to you, how you communicate. That's one. And second is you look for an application. This is what I can do. Even if you can make a medicine out of that, it actually gives you something. So
that was great. That was great. I'm very we are very happy with this session because your talk was amazing. Your advices were amazing, and we'll now go back to Shubho and see if we have more questions. And we can see Shubho. Yes.
Yes. I have collected 20 questions and I jot down in 5 category because it's cover all the category. And right now people are asking questions and some of the audience also reply them. One Larry Agro just asks that improved germplasm, where can get from improved germplasm of palm? So Dr. S. Rajesh replied that ICAR NRC for all plum now is IIOR.
OPR.
OPR, yes, at Paddavi for more details. So they are also interacting. It's nice. So, sir,
no, the thing is,
yes.
Subho, what I would like to say, it is actually, if I don't know anybody has noticed, at least I did not give publicity and I did not want it to give also. You know, if you have noticed me from the beginning, from I think I know you from last 7 years, 7-8 years. So I didn't, but then I knew that oil palm people will be naturally curious because they are actively working. I am only talking 10 years, 12 years back what I did. But then my very intention was to remove some of the doubts about palm oil as well as to give a link. I just wanted to tell them that you contact IIOPR, they will be
exactly.
They will give you all the answers. Yeah, please. Yeah.
Yes, sir. And sir, let's we talk about little bit in this discussions form of style. There is 5 category of questions what I understand, and if you answer these 5, then more or less all questions will be
everything
answered.
will be over. Yeah.
Yes. First is the one concern about the health issues. Maybe I don't know. Maybe it's negative. It is not scientific, but people have in mind that palm oil is not good for health. As I go from their questions, so I wanted to club these questions with which one is better, mustard oil, soybean oil, and palm oil. 3-4 people are asking these same questions. So health and this comparison. Do you want to talk anything on that?
Yeah, I want to talk. See, this is a very common question. People want a straight cut answer. This oil is good. Then what else? Everybody will eat that oil. It's not so simple, you know. If I ask you rice is good or wheat is good. See, basically, they are all 2 cereals. They are all edible oils. And the good part is we require saturated as well as unsaturated both. Understood? We require saturated, unsaturated both for different purposes for our body. Now, one thing I want to, I told, but I went a little fast because of time. But then, if anybody is eating outside, any food outside its home cooked with the oil, what he is seeing, like sunflower or mustard, he or she is eating palm oil. So just don't think that palm oil is going to make bad, or if you are eating a biscuit, you are eating palm oil. If you are eating a piece of cake, you are eating palm oil. So you can't, or you are eating a chips, you are eating palm oil. If you are eating murku or bhujia, you are eating palm oil. There's no other go, you are eating. Now coming to the health thing is, see, there is no oil which is like this, it is good or bad. Understood? Earlier days, when we had a geographical location where we used to grow a particular type of oil, that used to be combined with a lifestyle and the other foods also. Like coconut oil is a saturated oil, highly saturated oil, and that was eaten by Kerala people. And then, they eat lots of seafoods, and then they eat other foods which is grown there, and their activities, the type of activities they do there. Similarly, if you go to that north in Haryana, still today they eat 1 chamach ghee in one roti. In Bengali, they cannot just imagine that. You will be having diarrhea in the amount of ghee in a day they eat. Many friends are there, they say that 1 kilo ghee to main aise hi kha jaunga. So basically, along with that, the kind of lifestyle, the kind of body build, the kind of geographical region, everything matters. So a particular type of crop was growing and 100 years back in a region, and people were eating that only, along with the other things together. Today's date, we have a mixed lifestyle. We are deliberately, I'm walking every day 10,000, 15,000 steps and sitting there and doing many things. And the people who are asking the question, they have almost a sedentary life, and we have lifestyle, a different kind of a lifestyle which earlier used to have. In this context, basically nowadays, even you will be seeing most of the good brand soil are blended oil. Understood? Saffola started a brand called safflower oil. Safflower we usually used to put in muri with that. Like we in Bengali that's called chal bhaja. It is like a little hard fried rice. Along with that safflower seed used to be put. That is highly unsaturated fatty acids content. But then safflower oil was propagated so much. If you are taking so much of safflower oil, there will be other problems coming, because we need saturated oils. So now if you see a good company's oil, they are all having 2-3 oils blend. And to my opinion, if you ask, you keep 2 or 3 oils. If you are going to do a fry, suppose you want to make some nimki or like bhujia and keep it home, best is palm oil. That's because it is saturated oil and it can stay. It will not rancid. It will not become rancid. If you are doing it unsaturated fatty acid and you are making a fry, you actually after a few days you will see some smell is coming. They get rancid. So you have a combination of oil. No one thing is good, and then if you keep eating that in a means more and more quantity, that will do harm. Anything is poison once you take in excess. So for oil, blend is better, but you really don't know which blend and what. You just keep few oils, 2-3 oils at home, and in combination you can use them.
Yes, sir. Maybe there is another issue that previously the extraction process is not so modern. So sometime maybe but now its filtration and extraction process is very high-ended. So maybe impurities are not there. So the issues may have some issues in previously. Now it's now reason to bother it. So it can be
actually no. Oil with the impurities, that is for keeping quality it goes. Understood?
Okay.
Like if you are extracting from a mill and if you are not refining it and keeping, your oil gets rancid fast. But your nutritional quality is better in that. If you are able to extract even mustard oil from a local mill, and then if you are keeping them, you will not be able to keep them for a longer period because they are having impurities. They will actually start working on that. But nutritionally, they are better. Understood? Because lot of nutraceutical, when you make a hard process of purification, you actually degrade so many vitamins, so many other nutraceuticals. So that is not the question. Actually, saturated and unsaturated fatty acid is a big thing, which is basically matters. If you have a arteriosclerosis already, if you have your arteries are already blocked, definitely you should not take ghee and should not take what is called saturated fatty acid more. But it is not the other way. If you eat sugar, you will not get diabetes. But if you have a diabetes, you should not get sugar. Because it all depends upon in combination. Yeah.
Okay. Maybe that is why the cold press oil is more more?
Absolutely.
Right.
Cold press oil is more because it is not heated, and nutraceuticals are much more in that.
Okay. Sir, someone asks that you have already told that carotenoid level is so high in that. So one asks that extraction process of carotenoid from palm oil. Is there any methods of there or?
Yeah, it's there in a method. That's a long story, and indigenously it has been done. And Government of India has actually one point of time has given 150 crore subsidy to 5 factories to establish mills for only red palm oil. The problem is, if you want to retain the carotenoid and keep the oil, then it is a costly, because you have to use a mild process where the gumminess, stickiness has to be removed, and then you have to remove the odor, but your carotenoids has to be retained, means beta carotene has to be retained. Very easy thing is, you just give it very high steam and heat, everything goes off, So that is what people do. None of the company has done that. This has been done by CSIR Institute. Earlier it used to, and now they have given a different name. Trivandrum, there is an institute. That time that was called Regional Research Laboratory. They have a palm oil separate unit. So they developed, and that has been licensed. It is Malaysia, it is done. The problem with carotenoid red palm oil is, whosoever is asked, I hope he or she is listening. The problem is, even if you are buying that, you get red palm oil, you will be getting from a market around 400, 500, 600 rupees liter. But the problem is, our style of cooking is not good for using that. We put it, smoke comes, then pachporon or soche, means like you will be putting that mustard in that, around 200 and 250 degree, your carotene start getting oxidized, and that becomes more carcinogenic. So those red palm oils are used mainly as a salad oil. Many of the cases, when you dress on the top, when you put that oil, you can use that.
Yes.
But the technology is there. Since our style of cooking is different, they found probably that there are not good market, and eating salad is only a certain people, certain portion, and that too, they don't put salad oil on the top.
Okay, sir. Sir, another question is that modern techniques, before that I wanted to these questions. The generation time means you have already asked that if plant can survive for 100 years, and also there can flowering after 5 to 6 years. So like I'm working on jute, so I can relate that way. Its generation time is seed to seed, it take 11 months, 10 to 11 months, but fiber production for the 4 months. So I want that type of explanation from you on palm oil generation or time point, means what is the generation or where, because there is
See,
three questions.
I got it. The way you put the questions, answer will not be in that way. That's because jute or rice or any annual crop is different from its jute is even, they are not called even annual crop, they are a particular season's crop. So maximum 6 months we can actually leave for them. So seed to seed, within 6 months you will get majority of this crops, field crops. But these are all perennial crops, Of course, it comes under plantation crop, though it is not in India, is called as a plantation crop for different reason. But then basically, if you talk about tea, we put a garden for more than 100 years, and then after that they rejuvenate, they remove, and then put a new one. Understood? So in case of oil palm, if you come to that, a farmer will be buying a 1.5 years old seedling and putting there 1 to 1.5 years. After 3 years, they start getting the fruits. So those 3 years, they will be putting other crops as intercrops. And after that also they can put, as I told you, but after 3 years, they usually get small bunch. So 2 years, 3 years, they don't take those bunch. Then from 6, 7 years onwards, they can start getting the bunch. And now there is a lot of development, which I did not tell. IIOPR has identified few dwarf palm, and they are trying to multiply them. If you are able to make the growth of the palm less, understood, that annual increment of growth is more, then instead of 35 years, you can go up to 45 years. It is mainly harvesting becomes problem. After a height, it becomes very difficult to harvest them. Getting a harvester becomes very difficult. Otherwise, you typically become, typically if you say after putting around 6 years onwards, very nicely you can get 5 to 6 years, you can harvest and start getting the yield. But then your yield gets stabilized after around 8 to 10 years. Understood? It increases. It increases 6 years onwards also it will increase, but around 8 to 10 years you get almost stable yield.
Okay. So a lot of question on fertilizer use in this palm oil field.
Fertilizer use, I gave a slide, and I suggest, because I am not from agronomy, and I am not, 600, 1200, 600, there was a dose at one point of time from Kerala, it was recommended. But at present, I was just seeing in the site, I'll just tell that if you go to the IIOPR, they have lots of technical bulletin, and they have an app. They have a mobile app, and Dr. M.B. Prasad is the extension scientist. Is extremely good. Everybody is good there. There's a mobile app. The link is also given. You just go to the Google Play Store. You will get that Oil Palm Institute. Then you will be having lots of FAQ and question. So like means for oil palm. One thing I forgot to tell: oil palm in any other part of the world was grown as a irrigated crop. Like it requires a rainfall of around 3,000 to 4,000 mm per year, and that too it should be well distributed. So that is with the intention, basically Little Andaman and Kerala, they were grown, but then they are all rainforest, as well as it is a hub of biodiversity. So that was the reason they did not allow to expand there. And first time in India, with some of our ICAR, Dr. Chadda was there, and Dr. Ratinam was there. Few people, they discussed and thought, why not as an irrigated crop? So first time in India, it is grown as an irrigated crop. Now in irrigation, if you do a flooded irrigation, it requires around 400, 500 liters of water per day. Now started with that, it got to sprinkler, then got microgel. It will be only in the root zone, drop by drop water goes into that. Now it came to fertilizer combined with irrigation fertigation. In oil palm, it is very well established, because since you are having a drip irrigation system in the field, you can put the fertilizer also, liquid fertilizer also in that, so it goes. That is the reason I'm actually not recommending. I am telling 600, 1200, 600 one dose around 15 years back. That too, it was done by a oil palm scientist who was working in Palod, that is one of the station of Kerala, means like a irrigated, rain-fed oil palm. So now the things got changed. IIOPR, just you remember that IIOPR word, that's enough. You can go and you will get every detail of disease, pest, fertilizer, how to grow, when to go, whom to contact, everything.
Okay, sir. Sir, the last questions related to your talk today, that if a farmer, or if someone planning to plant palm oil agriculture or plantations, what will be the start? Means he or she has the land, but how they go for the step by step to plant it, palm oil plantation? You have covered it, but if it is possible, please repeat once again.
Yeah, I'll tell that. He has to first talk to IIOPR. Understood? Okay. Unless and until IIOPR come into picture, it is not going to happen. But if he is having a nearby oil palm factory, he can contact, they will bring them. And it is easy. Both things are easy. And now it is an internet era. In the mobile itself, if he is searching, he will get Dr. Prasad's number there, or the contact director there. So just give a mail, or you can give a what is called call. So Oil Palm Institute will tell. The procedure, what I am telling is, there will be a, means whatever state it is, their agriculture department plus our IIOPR, and there will be a central team together, and sometimes the factory people also, under whom it is going to be. There will be a team who will go and see the field. As I told, that it is not a 1 year crop. Okay, this year it is a failure, next year we'll grow other crops. It is not like that. So when you are going, you have decided about at least 35 years or 30 years, you are going to grow oil palm, means in that field it will be there. So they will see whether your land is okay. They will see whether your irrigation is there or not. Once it is there, then the factory people will be contacting you, how much area you want to grow. So they will know how much seed is required. Then they will be giving a demand to oil palm. They every year conduct seed meet. In that, all the seed who are producer, there are around 5 earlier it was there. So those seed producers were told that they will be given an indent. This much crossing you do, and this much seed has to be given. If it is going beyond that, sometimes they will be permitting for import. This much you do. So after that, once the sprouts they get factory, they will be grown for 1.5 years by the factory. So you can say, if you are asking that I want to grow and you have contacted today, probably 2.5 years after you will get the seedlings for growing in your field.
Achha. So it's a pre-plan.
It has to be, because just like that, if you go and you don't get, it is a pre-planned and it's a long-term plan.
Okay.
Understood? Yes.
And sir, but what is the scenario in international way? Because there is a lot of participants from African countries, Pakistan, Bangladesh, and Philippines, I can see. So what will be their scenario? They have some institute, or they have some others?
See, Malaysia, Indonesia, and they are the major institute. But Africa, if you just give that African oil palm, you will see that they are pounding, they are using that oil as such, not in a very systematic and proper way. But then that bunch, no, they take it, they just pound in something, and then they filter it with a gunny bag sort of a thing and eat them. Now the question for them is basically international scenario. Primarily, we can't tell just like that how it is, as long as you don't see the place, see the field, see the condition there. But means we have standardized the things for us, and it is not an indigenous crop also. We learned from other countries, and slowly we did that. But they have institutes, there are Africa also institutes are there on palm oil, and then here also they do. France, there are a lot of work they do on that. Even other countries also do. And you have seen, one of the graph I have shown, no, it is more than 30%, around 32% edible oil is palm oil in the world. In India, it is 38% edible oil in the world. So whether you grow or not, about palm oil, whole world is aware. And then, as I told, it is very tightly linked with your crude oil price. Crude oil means your diesel and petrol price, because this is sitting in the center. When the crude oil is less, your edible oil is less. When your crude oil is more, the palm oil goes more for biodiesel, and your edible oil price goes. They can contact nearby people. In fact, there are a lot of things, even Malaysia, Indonesia, in an international forum. It's a small village, so they can write mails to IIOPR and do that.
Okay. Means collaborative, they can also.
Yeah, research collaborative they can do, but then even consultancy mode also, I believe IIOPR will be having competent scientists. Somebody in Africa wants to grow, with the help of some Indian people, definitely with the ICAR permission, they can go and give consultancy. Yes, you can grow them.
Okay, sir. So that is the sense. I think these all the questions cumulatively answered in that way. And I will send you all the questions they are asking, and few questions they can found in Googling it. So I'm not mentioning anymore. So thanks, sir. It's a great talk.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
And I wanted to make it, as I told, there are a lot of other things, but then it's good that means, as long as you don't try to pull that, it becomes difficult.
Yes, sir. And many people asking to keep this video on YouTube. Yes, our all video is available on YouTube, so it's there. And sir's bio is also linked with the description, so you can check it for more details. And sir, today we reached 10,000 subscriptions. So many people are Thank
you so much, everybody.
Yes, thank you so much. And day by day, they are more interacting, more participating. So I want to create this type of environment. It's very, I'm very lucky that you guys are there to support me in that way. And obviously, your talk will give new perspectives for many young researchers. And those are working on that crops. I know they are they are hardworking people, and they are very patient also, because it took time to grow and get the results. So thanks for coming.
Thank you
today.
so much. You make a round of all people, then maybe after some time, 2-3 years, I'll come to the topic what I am doing.
Yes,
We have some interesting.
we would love that.
Yes,
we have some interesting product to come, so
Okay.
we'll do that. But as I told, there are many, and rice wheat people keep talking. But then any researcher will always like to talk about what they are doing. This was actually more than my research. I wanted to make aware of the people that nothing to worry about palm oil. So that was the very purpose of this.
Yes, and we are trying in your presentation is like in that way, in the perspectives of a farmer, a student, and also a researcher, because there is a lot of challenge. If you are a good researcher, then do it for the betterment of that. And if you are a scholar, then you have opportunity to work something which is very cost important, and I can cash crop. It's like a cash crop. So
it was a very wholesome presentation.
Yes, and nothing is every part of this plant is utilized in commercial.
So actually, as Subho told, it's so much of information. It was so difficult to coincide. That's why I had to rush little. But I wanted to give an overall picture, and after that, anybody interested in anything specific, they can contact the institute and they can get more information. So thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Right,
Please
Suma?
come
Thank
again.
you. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, bye.
Okay, namaste. Soma, please end the
And
session.
okay, I will end this.
Bye, sir.
Bye.